Most people think a better vacation costs more money. Some don't even bother taking one, telling themselves they'll travel when they can finally afford it. They're wrong. You can have a perfect vacation when you're broke, and you can be a millionaire and come home more stressed than when you left. The difference isn't the budget, it's how you spend it. Level 1. You're standing on a cliff overlooking the ocean. Below you, waves crash against the rocks. Behind you, a hiking trail disappears into the trees. For the first time in months, your mind is completely quiet. Your phone has been off for 3 days. You haven't checked the news. You haven't thought about work once. The total cost of this vacation? $85. 3 days earlier, you bought the cheapest bus ticket you could find to a coastal national park. You found a trail you could follow for 7 days, with free campsites along the way. You borrowed a backpack and tent from a friend, asked your dad if he still had any old camping gear, packed a backpack with discount groceries, coffee, oatmeal, pasta, canned food, nothing fancy, and spent the week hiking, swimming, reading, cooking simple meals, and watching the sun disappear into the ocean every night. On Monday, you returned to work rested, clear-headed, recharged. The vacation didn't make you forget about your problems. It gave you the energy to solve them. Now compare that to the dumb version. You get a week off. You look at your bank balance. $85. The idea of spending your vacation alone, just thinking about that number, sounds miserable. So you call a friend and take a bus to another city. You crash on his couch, drink cheap booze every night, order takeout, stay up until 3 a.m., go to the sleazy bars and clubs, do whatever it takes to avoid thinking about your life. For a few days, it works. By the last day, you're sleeping until noon. Your head is pounding. Your stomach feels awful. Your sleep schedule is destroyed. And when you get home, you feel even more miserable than when you left. So you tell yourself, the problem was your budget. Level 2. You pull into a tiny village with one grocery store, a quaint coffee shop, an old-school diner, and a lake so still it looks like glass. The Airbnb isn't luxurious, the floors creak, the Wi-Fi barely works. The owner left fresh bread on the kitchen table with a handwritten note welcoming you. Your girlfriend smiles. This place is perfect. You unpack your bags, cook pasta together, take a walk along the water, watch the sunset from an old wooden dock with nobody else around. The total cost of the vacation? $700 split between two. You booked it 4 months ago, picked a destination nobody on social media talks about, packed a trunk full of groceries, walked everywhere because the place is tiny. For 6 days, life slows down. You sleep 9 hours every night, swim in the lake, play card games on the porch while it rains, drink coffee outside every morning. By the time you leave, it feels like you've been gone for weeks, and you still have money left in your savings account. Now compare that to the dumb version. Instead of looking for a place you'll actually enjoy, you look for a place with a famous name, the destination everyone online keeps posting. The problem? Every decent Airbnb is way out of your budget, so you settle for the only thing you can afford, a tiny private room in somebody else's house. 40 minutes away. The bed squeaks every time you move. The walls are paper thin. You can hear the hosts arguing downstairs. Every morning, instead of a relaxing coffee on the porch, you jump in the car to beat the traffic. You spend more than an hour driving back and forth every day just to reach the places you actually wanted to see. Parking is expensive. The cafes are overpriced. You stuff yourself with cheap fast food every day because it's the only thing that fits the budget. Your girlfriend wants to stay for sunset. You want to leave before the parking fee doubles. Small disagreements become arguments. By the end of the week, you've seen the famous landmarks, taken the pictures, posted them online. But when someone asks how the trip was, you hesitate, because what you actually remember is your tiny room, sitting in traffic, checking your bank account before every meal. You convince yourself the problem wasn't the planning. It was that you just don't have enough money yet. Level 3. You land in a city you've wanted to visit since you were 16, and this time, you have the money and the sense to do it right. Your Airbnb isn't flashy, but it's in a good location. You can walk almost everywhere. In the morning, you have breakfast somewhere that smells good. You visit a couple of landmarks you've always wanted to see. Then the day takes over. You find a tiny bakery hidden down a side street. You buy something you can't pronounce. It ends up being one of the best things you eat all week. A few hours later, you're sitting in a small park watching a game you've never seen before. You have no idea what the rules are. You stay there for a full game anyway. Later, you turn down a random street because it looks interesting. At the end of it, there's a small market. A musician is playing. Kids are running around. You spend the rest of the afternoon there. None of it was on your itinerary. None of it would have shown up in a travel guide. And years later, it's still what you remember. Now compare that to the dumb version. You book the dream beach holiday, the one everyone posts every summer. All-inclusive package, a beach lined with identical sunbeds packed shoulder to shoulder. The food is unlimited. The drinks are unlimited. The entertainment is scheduled for you. You barely have to make a single decision all week. You never leave the resort, because you've already paid for everything. So every day starts to look exactly like the last. Your girlfriend spends most afternoons scrolling on her phone. She looks up once. At least it's hot, then goes back to scrolling. A week later, you're back home. Someone asks what the country was like. You pause, because the truth is, you never really saw it. Level 4. You've wanted to learn how to surf since you were a teenager, but between work, money, and life, you never did. Now you can. So you book 3 weeks in a small surf town. Not the fanciest hotel, just an apartment overlooking the beach. Every morning, you grab breakfast from a local cafe. Grab your board. Meet your instructor. Spend 2 hours getting thrown off waves. By the end of the first week, you can finally stand up. Your girlfriend is with you, splashing you with water, trying to learn the same thing. In the afternoons, you explore the little beach coves that aren't on any map. Wander through town, find small restaurants, talk to locals, watch the sunset with salt in your mouth and sand still stuck to your feet. You come home with sore muscles and a hobby you'll probably keep for the rest of your life. Now compare that to the dumb version. You decide it's finally time for a luxury vacation. Business class flights, 5-star hotel, infinity pool, private yacht excursion, helicopter ride, Michelin star tasting menu, spa package. By day 3, you're checking your watch. Not because anything is wrong, but because nothing really means anything to you. You're just doing expensive things. At dinner, the waiter places another tiny dish in front of you and explains it for 5 minutes. Your girlfriend whispers, "I still kind of want a burger." You laugh. But she's right. The whole trip feels like you're acting in someone else's life. You get home with incredible photos, an empty wallet, and the strange feeling that you didn't actually do anything you cared about. Level 5. You book a private yacht. The biggest one you can justify without feeling ridiculous. Crew on board. Michelin-level chef. Champagne always cold. Helicopter transfers to ports. Every detail is handled for you. At first, it feels like freedom, but after a few days, something shifts. The ocean is beautiful, but you're always on the same deck, same conversations, same routine dressed up as luxury. Sunrise, lunch, sunset. The world changes, but you don't move through it. You just observe it passing by. And by the end of the trip, something feels off. Nothing you did stayed with you. Now compare that to the smart version. 1 month, you're hiking through a national park on the other side of the world you've wanted to visit since childhood. A few months later, you're surfing on a tropical island, trying to catch the wave of a lifetime. Sometimes you spend a week exploring a city. Sometimes you rent a cabin in the mountains and disappear. Sometimes you join friends for a fishing trip. Sometimes you fly across the world for a single event you've always wanted to experience. The luxury isn't the yacht, the luxury is choice. Every trip feels different. Every year adds a few more stories. And somehow, after all these years, you're still chasing the same feeling you found on that cliff for $85. And if you want to keep chasing that feeling, subscribe to the channel and click on one of the videos on your screen. I'll see you there.